This is the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast with Mike Kinnett and Ryan Herbert of ProStatus Financial, now celebrating 20 years helping families build successful retirements and lasting family legacies. Mike is a financial planner and estate planning attorney with a master's degree in tax and 4-time Amazon best-selling author. Ryan is a 5-star Wealth Management Award winner and top-ranked financial advisor by Forbes. Now, the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast.
Welcome into the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast, now available to you on YouTube. That way you can see Ryan's lovely face, Mike's lovely face. I've got a face for radio, so you really don't want to see mine. My name is also Mike. Ryan, how are you?
Doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Doing great. I want to talk about Ravens, Chiefs, but first want to let everybody know what we've got coming up because we've got a great show for you today. If you are interested in your finances, if you're interested in retirement, if you're interested in having a comfortable, successful retirement, this is the show for you. By stage of life, is there a better place for your money than a 401k? That's coming up. We're also going to hear from comedian Ron White, who came out of retirement after 2 years, and he's complaining about the same thing that most of us are complaining about. And I just give you a little quick preview, and that's taxes. We're also going to talk about the Ravens-Chiefs AFC Championship game this weekend. Man, they look great. Chiefs, the Taylor Swift show's coming to town, but the Ravens look strong, man.
Yeah, I was made my wife sit down and watch it because, she wanted to watch the Chiefs-Bills game because, the off chance of seeing Taylor Swift. Same thing with my daughters. And then, just earlier today, she asked me, did you buy tickets to Taylor Swift? And I was like, no, I didn't do that. But I looked at ticket prices and they were ungodly expensive for a football game. It was like $700 something for the upper deck. To be down low, it was like $1,300. And then, me being the true Ravens fan, I kind of looking past the Kansas City Chiefs, what if they win? Do I want to go to the Super Bowl? Because I didn't go when it was in New Orleans and I didn't go when it was in San Francisco. How much are tickets there? And it was like $12,000 for an upper level ticket.
Upper level.
In Vegas. Yeah. And it's like, it's not front row upper level. It's all the way up towards the top. And I was like, yeah, I think I'd rather save my money than spend it there.
Well, you'll have the best seat in the house.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
Is your house.
I'll be on my couch, right next to the kegerator and right down the hallway from the bathroom.
Unless, here we're talking, we got a lot of machismo going on here. We're talking, here's what I would do. Unless your wife and daughter, they want to go see the Ravens-Chiefs game and the odd chance that they would be able to see Taylor Swift. And then all bets are off when that happens, right?
No bets are off. I'm not going.
I love it.
Too much money. I don't want to be, I'd rather be, like you said, sitting in the comfort of my own home than out in the cold and the rain watching football. Because if then they lose, I've just spent all that money and it's disappointing. I think I'd much rather, I spent all the money for the nice home theater, the nice setup down in my basement. I'd rather just watch it from there and, order pizza and wings and just have a nice time at home, because that way if they're losing at halftime, I just turn it off and I walk away.
Yeah, well, Ravens look great this year, so best to them, of course. So that got me thinking, and we did some numbers here on what it costs to attend a football game this past season. I got this from bookies.com. So here are some of the numbers. For a family of 4, they paid an average of around $650 for an NFL game. Ravens games, those averaged about $390 for a family of 4. Now, these experiences like sporting events, so on and so forth, they're going up just like everything else is going up. So the question that I have is, do you guys factor in these type of expenses when you are planning for retirement? Say somebody wants to take a cruise every year in retirement. How do you factor that in?
One of the big things that we do, the first thing that we do when, either they're coming in from the radio show, coming in from a workshop or a seminar, they're either having a conversation with Mike or myself or our team or talking with Lawrence. One of the questions we always ask them is, how much money are you spending a month right now? Because that's kind of really the baseline for retirement. You can read all those studies from Fidelity and Vanguard and Forbes that say, you take 60% of your pre-retirement income, 80%, whatever those numbers are. And that's how much you need to have in retirement. But what we look at is, here's exactly how much money you're spending now, because the goal of retirement is to maintain that same lifestyle that you had while you're working. Because if you're working and you're like my wife, whenever you want something, you don't even really think about it. You just go buy it.
Easy.
Yeah, easy. With Amazon. She's Amazon, they're straight to the house.
Yeah, it's like Santa Claus now is in a blue suit instead of a red suit because he comes every day to my house. Is that
my Santa Claus is brown. The UPS man's at my house. We're on a first name basis at this point. But it's really about lifestyle. Just when you retire, it's not a change in lifestyle. It's just a change in where you go every single day.
Yeah.
Instead of going to the office or going to the store, the shop, or whatever you're doing, now you're at home, or maybe you're going and playing golf. Maybe you're seeing your friends. Maybe you're bowling, or you're taking an RV trip across the country. It's really about maintaining that lifestyle. So whatever you're spending a month, whether it's $5,000 or $10,000 a month, that's the number we shoot for in retirement. But then a lot of clients want to take it a step further, like you're talking about, and they're saying, all right, for the first 10 years of retirement, I want to plan to have $12,000 extra a year for vacation or whatever the number is. They always build in something like that. And that's perfectly fine to do. Some people build that into their monthly income and they just plan on that, saving that money every single month. And then there are some people that say, all right, I'm just going to plan on whenever I want to do it, I want to take that lump sum out to pay for that vacation. And it is, for Mike and myself and our team here at ProStatus, is making that work for our clients. And if this is something that you're interested in, figuring out how much money I need to have to spend every single month, and how can I create that income stream that makes sure that I never outlive my money, that I never run out of money, and possibly have that money for those extra things in life, I encourage you to give us a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, and sit down with Mike, myself, and our team here at ProStatus, and we'll put together your very own complimentary retirement income plan. 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040.
Ryan Herbert is a financial and tax planner and 5-star wealth management award winner. Mike Kinnett is a financial planner and estate planning attorney with a master's degree in tax and 4-time Amazon best-selling author. And when you talk about income, it's got to be great for when people come to see you, you do these reports and they're actually able to see how much income they're actually able to generate from what they've worked so hard for to save. So if you want that opportunity to see for yourself, again, 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. We also want to remind you about the website, thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Again, that's thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Right there, front page, they made it very easy for you to connect with Mike and Ryan and get that appointment. So that way you guys can start on that income plan. And front page there, the income analyzer, that will get you connected with Mike and Ryan. Again, thesavvyinvestorradio.com and 866-597-1040. Teammates are standing by right now to take your call. So this retirement thing, when you are figuring out income, I've heard where probably one of the most important decisions that we'll make in our lives are stopping work, knowing that you don't have a paycheck for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. That's a big decision for people. Does this income analyzer make that a little bit easier for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, all this time you're always working towards a number with your retirement savings, whether you're actively doing it. I want to have $1 million in my 401k or, $1.5 million or whatever the number is, or you're subconsciously doing it. Do I have enough money to retire? One of the great things that we do when the clients come in and sit down is not only are we talking about their investments that they own specifically, showing them the risks they're taking, the fees that they're paying, talking about taxes, talking about Roth conversions, long-term care, estate planning, all those aspects of financial plan. But what we're showing them is, here's how much money you said that you wanted to have to spend in retirement. You wanted to be able to spend $5,000 a month. But looking at everything that you have in retirement, looking at your Social Security, if you're lucky enough to have a pension, or if you have rental income, or any other sources of income other than that work paycheck, combine that with everything that you save for retirement, is here is the potential that you have to spend. So we're giving you a range. You told me you wanted $60,000, but you can actually spend up to $95,000 a year. And that $95,000 a year number, that's your going broke number, meaning that when you pass away, you're going to leave behind, for most people, the value of your house, plus maybe $100,000 or $200,000 for the kids. And it's giving people that knowledge of knowing that if they were really conservative with their budget when they gave me that $5,000 a month number, it gives them the freedom to say, all right, Ryan, I told you I wanted $5,000 a month, but that really just kind of covers the bare minimums. Let's talk about, kind of like what you said, let's talk about adding money in for vacations. Let's talk about adding money in for new cars and doing those things that we've always wanted to do in retirement. And even if they don't bring it up, that's when I start to bring it up, because you didn't work your entire life and save money your entire life to sit at home and do nothing. You didn't work and save your entire life so that when you pass away, your kids can roll up to your funeral in brand new Corvettes. You saved that money every single month, every single paycheck to have that retirement that you've always wanted. And that income analyzer that Mike and myself and our team here at ProStatus that we do really shows you the potential that you can have in retirement. And it really is kind of giving people that added peace of mind of knowing that if I follow these steps, this is what my retirement really can truly look like. And when clients come back, a year later after retirement and just kind of verifying that, Ryan, I'm so happy that we sat down with you and Lawrence, or we sat down with Mike and Catherine, and we worked out these numbers, because now we don't have to worry about where our income's coming from in retirement, because we know we have these sources of income that are as guaranteed as possible. And even there are cases where I'm showing people that you're working for free. If you have a pension, you're working for the state, the county, some of those government contractors, even the government themselves. Probably just 2 weeks ago, I was sitting down with Lawrence in my office, and we had somebody come in from the radio show. And I think that we figured it out that, he said, I think I want to work another 2 or 3 years. And I ran out the numbers, and we sat and we were going over them. We said, all right, you can retire right now. Here's what your pension is going to be. Here's how we're going to claim your Social Security. Here's all the money you've set aside. Here's how that's going to be allocated. And I said, but you're telling me that you want to work another 2 or 3 years. By running those numbers, you are earning $12 an hour by working.
Wow.
You are basically working for free. You're giving them money just to have a couple extra dollars in your pension. It makes no sense for you to continue working beyond the end of this month. And I think, by the time we were done with our conversation, he's like, you know what, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to go to my office.
Call right there and give the 2 weeks.
He didn't do it in the office, but, he went about a week later. I got an email back from him saying, yeah, Ryan, you were right. I turned in my 2 weeks. I'm going to start collecting my pension. And, once all that kicks in, I'm going to talk to them about going back as a contractor, simply because he wanted something to do with his time. And working in retirement because you want to is different than working in retirement because you have to. If you're thinking about, am I working for free? What am I giving up by not taking that step today? Give the office a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. For the next 5 callers that have saved $500,000 or more for retirement, give us a call, 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040. You'll sit down with Mike, myself, and our team here at ProStatus, and we'll put together your very own complimentary income plan for retirement. 866-597-1040.
Now you hear the strain in Ryan's voice. He's taking some water right now.
I'm trying.
And the reason that is the way it is because he was just cheering on the Ravens. So rest up, because we're going to need you this weekend too. Ravens, Chiefs, expensive expenses. If that's something that you want to create into your retirement plan, this is the opportunity for you to make sure that you have that income. That way that you can enjoy retirement, as Ryan was talking about. 866-597-1040. And don't forget, online at thesavvyinvestorradio.com, thesavvyinvestorradio.com.
I owe the IRS a bunch of money because I don't understand how that works. It's confusing. When I started doing stand-up, they said that made me an independent contractor, and they said I needed to start filing my taxes quarterly, which I thought meant every 25 years.
That is comedian Ron White. Welcome back to the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast. He retired. 2 years later, he came back complaining about something we all complain about, taxes. That's a funny guy.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of truth there, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't think he truly came back for taxes. I don't think that's the reason he came back. I think he came back because, he wasn't done. He still had something more to say. And, he quite honestly, if the stories he talks about with his wife are true in any aspect, he didn't want to be around her that much. But, him and the blue collar comedy guys, they had a big run up in the middle 2000s. And I just think that he wasn't done. Everybody else is still doing everything. So that's kind of what he wanted to do. But taxes are very, very important part of life. They're a very, very important part while you're working, because the one thing that everybody asks me whenever they come in to have their taxes prepared is, what can I do to reduce my taxes? That's one of the things that people are always concerned about while they're working. And there's this notion or myth or something out there. We've talked about this so many times that once you're retired, you don't have to pay taxes, or there's a magical age out there, which the government says, all right, you've paid enough, don't give us any more money. But those simply aren't the case. One of the things that Mike and I do is tax planning. Years ago, when Mike first started ProStatus, which was over 20 years ago, we just celebrated our 20th anniversary back in October. We had that huge party at the office. We had people from a lot of the radio stations came by, a lot of our clients came by. But, he was doing taxes originally, and he kept seeing these mistakes, these things that were happening from his tax clients' financial advisors, that they were coming to him, and he was saying, well, if you just did this instead of that, if you zigged instead of zagged, this aspect, this problem really wouldn't have happened. And that's kind of how the financial advising aspect came to it. And that's why tax planning and tax preparation is such a huge part of what we do here at ProStatus, because, any financial advisor can talk about the stock market, can talk about risk and returns, but not every financial advisor, I would say 90% of financial advisors, financial planners out there, don't really talk about taxes. Because, if you're sitting down with your financial advisor and you ask them a tax question, what's their answer?
Yeah, you got to talk to your tax professional.
Talk to your tax professional. Go talk to my buddy Tom down the street. He's a CPA. He handles all the tax stuff for me. So now you then become that middleman between Tom, the CPA, and John, your financial advisor. Something's getting lost in translation. You're not asking the right exact questions. And that's where mistakes have been made. I've been on the air now for, 15 years, something like that. Ever since I joined Mike, he's always had a radio show, but years and years ago, I did a dinner workshop in Crofton, Maryland. People came in for dinner to talk about investments, talk about financial planning, talk about all that. But, I had someone who I reached out to afterwards, and they said, yeah, Ryan, we'd love to come in for a second opinion. We just sold our medical practice. We have a lot of money with 2 separate financial advisors. We just want to make sure that we're on the right track, because they've never really talked to us about taxes. And they were working with 2 separate financial advisors, one of them being one of the most popular firms out there. They have their name on the side of a building. And the other one being with their bank, a really large national established bank. We sold our practice for about $5.5 million. And after taxes, we split the money between the 2 of them, because we didn't want to put all of our eggs in one basket. And we asked our first advisor, who should we use for taxes? And they recommended the CPA. They went to the CPA and they said, all right, we just sold our medical practice for $5.5 million. What should we do? What should we think about? What can we do to help reduce taxes? Well, at that point, they waited too long. There was nothing they could do to reduce their taxes because it had already happened. But that CPA just said, oh, okay, well, if you sold it for $5.5 million, based on the projections I've done, you're going to owe X amount of money to the IRS, and you're going to owe $350,000 to the state of Maryland. Just go ahead and make those estimated tax payments, and then you'll be done. So they did that. They went back. They told their advisors, here's the balance of the money. Just invest it. Everybody washed their hands. They said that year was done. They came to me, I think it was 2 years later, a year and a half later. All I know is I couldn't fix the problem at that point. But they came to me, and one of the things that makes Mike and myself and our team here at ProStatus different is that I'm not just looking at the investments. I want to see the tax returns, because I want to look back and see, is there anything that was done in the past that we can fix to help save you money on taxes? But more importantly, what can we do to help save you money in taxes in the future? And if this is not something that your advisor really is talking to you about, and you want to get that second opinion, you want to find out if there's anything going on in my taxes or in my investments that I can make changes to, I encourage you to give us a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, and sit down with Mike, myself, and our team here at ProStatus and get a second opinion on your financial plan. If you've saved $500,000 or more for retirement and you're one of the next 5 callers, give us a call at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040.
Also online at thesavvyinvestorradio.com, there is a tax analysis button there. Just go on your computer, thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Again, that's thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Right there, front page, the tax analysis button, and you can call. We got teammates standing by right now at 866-597-1040, 866-597-1040, and online at thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Again, that's thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Click on that tax analysis button, and that'll get you with the guys. Also online at The Savvy Investor. I just mentioned that, but also the podcast, The Savvy Investor Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends as well. And we're also on YouTube now. That way you can see us and say hi to us. Ryan, got to wrap things up for this week. As always, though, you get the final word.
This is Ryan Herbert. Thank you so much for listening to the Savvy Investor Radio and podcast. And we will see you, the Savvy Investor, next week.
Advisory services offered through ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, a registered investment advisor. Insurance licensed in Maryland. ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, LLC is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if ProStatus Financial Advisors Group is licensed in your state, please call 410-863-1040. ProStatus Group, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through representatives of ProStatus Financial Advisors Group.